Okay, so we're back here. We have talked about the global navigation of our course and how it's organized. We have gone through the syllabus and talked about some specifics about the textbook and some of the things, some of the nuances here of the course. And so let me take you back here to our course. I mentioned that the course is organized in modules, right? Let me go ahead and come up here quickly. Oops, what I wanted to do. Okay. So remember that if you click on the modules link here on the left in the course navigation bar, it'll open out to these blocks of content. And hopefully by now you checked this before we begin one. Also the course materials. I think somebody on the chat box asked about the periodic table. I have one here for you. It really doesn't matter which one you use. Now, the one that's in here that you can either download or you can preview, this is the one that I'm going to hand out when we do exams. So you might as well download this one and use it for your assignments. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I had to respect my colleagues and stuff. I mean, I personally wouldn't mind, but since these are, things that you can write on, I guess some professors are concerned that students might have things written on their files. And so I cannot let you use your own file of the periodic table, but this is the model of the one that I'm going to give you during exams. So you might want to use this one for your assignments. All right. All right. So let's go back to our modules. And just wanted to remind you that there are two levels of organization here. All right. The first set of modules is a timeline. And unfortunately, because of my health condition, I was not able to get ahead and do all of this right away. But right now, what I'm showing you is the weeks 1 and 2 of activities. So essentially, you can either follow the course, navigate it on a week-by-week basis. And for each set of 2 weeks, you're going to have in here, what are the activities that you have, what assignments are going to be due, what topics are going to be discussed in lecture. Some of the lecture stuff is already there. So here would be, for example, our first lecture, the study of reaction rates. And all it is basically, it's some linked YouTube videos from yours truly, and you can follow along. Now, when you are following the lectures, of course, a lot of what I do there is on PowerPoint. And what you can do is you can either come in here, right where we were, and you can download the PowerPoints, or there's a whole section here in the bottom called topics. And in this case, the course is organized by topic. So if you want to get the PowerPoint notes for that first lecture, you can get them here or from every one of the lectures. Now, a couple of things about this. Number one, let me show you what the PowerPoints that you get look like. They're going to look like this. So what's going to happen is it'll be kind of almost the same stuff that I have on my presentation, but many of them have blanks in them. And the idea is that as you follow along, you can fill in those blanks. It keeps you from having to take extensive notes because you have exactly what I'm talking about there. Now, there are a few blanks, there are a few calculations and stuff you'll have to write in by yourselves. So I think this allows you to concentrate a little more, spend less time writing, looking at something you write down. Or alternatively, it's also a way of helping your brains kind of capture the information, all right? So that's the kind of PowerPoint file you're gonna get. Now realize that if you don't download the PowerPoint, but actually just go to the course, let's say, for example, and let's say that you simply open it and you wanna preview it here, right? If you preview it, what it's gonna show you is the slideshow. So it's not going to be all the slides. So I don't know what kind of software you have that you can write on the actual, slideshow. So I would recommend that you download the file instead of previewing it. And maybe even if you can make yourself a hard copy, print it out, or maybe you can always, stop the video and, switch or toggle back to the, digital version of the PowerPoint handout. things like that. I'm gonna leave that up to you. I'm gonna let you guys kind of like figure out what works for you, because I don't know what types of devices you have. Now, in this bottom section, besides study guides, uh, laboratory, you're also going to have each unit. So for example, for the first unit, which is kinetics, and it's number 13, because in Chem 1A, I go from units 1 through 12. So I figured I just number it this way. And this is the way also they're numbered in the top hat text. So please forgive me if it confuses you, but that's the way I do it. So let's say, for example, that 4-5 weeks into the semester, you're going to study for your test. You want to review the study about collision theory, but you don't remember when we did that. So try to find it in the week by week modules. Might not be as easy. So you can simply come back here. You know that it's kinetics, and you can find it right there. Now, unfortunately, it's not ready yet. I'm working on it, so it should be ready by the weekend. All right. So that's another way of navigating the course. And we're missing a few here because I haven't, like I said, I haven't finished them. But for example, here's the one for acids and bases. Now, again, because of my health condition, I was not able to really work a lot of new stuff. So beginning with somewhere between unit 14 and 15, that's when when we were meeting at the school on campus, the school closed and we went to remote instruction. So somewhere in there is when we started doing things online. And so I honestly don't have the energy or the time to work out new lectures. So what I'm going to be showing here is the lectures from the spring semester of 2020. All right. So uh, you'll notice some of the amateurish stuff that I did in the beginning. Not that it's much better now, but I think it's a little better than it was back then. All right. And again, if you have any problems, any questions, again, feel free to ask me. All right. Okay, so that's how you navigate there. Let me look at my outline here, make sure that I'm covering everything. Okay. Yep, yep, yep. So, like I said, you can navigate our course either on a week-to-week basis or on a topic by topic basis. Now you're saying, well, if I go topic by topic, how am I going to know what assignments are doing, that kind of stuff? I'm glad you asked, because you can find them right here where it says assignments. So when you open that link, it's going to show you a list. Now, as a student, what you're going to see is the ones that are due, that are upcoming. And right now, I only have a few here that are posted already, and they're organized by date. Now, you can also show them by type. So this is a different way of looking at it. So here are discussions, lab reports, quizzes, and homework. Okay, let me go quickly through some of those. I only started using the discussion forums here in Canvas this past summer, but the students loved it. So some of these are going to be of a more like a personal, I don't know, slash philosophical, social commentary. I don't know. It may be topics that have nothing to do with our coursework. Some of them will be. But let's look at the first one. So when you open that link there that says the Kinetic Lounge, that's our discussion forum, your first activity is called Getting to Know You. I think if you took Chem 1A with me in the summer of 2020, you may have done this activity already, or who knows, if you took this class with me before, you probably did the same activity. I just wanted to put it here in Chem 1B. So I have a little blurb here, a little bio about myself. I mentioned some of these things in my presentation, but then it's your turn. So the idea is when you open here, when you open this assignment, what's going to happen is you are going to be posting a, right now I can't because, like I said, I don't have a real student account. So technically what will happen is in your view, there should be a button here that says submit, and you're going to post your bio by September 3rd. After you have posted your initial brief personal bio, you will be able to see the responses of other students, and then you can reply to them. So your task is to pick 2 students. They can be people you know, or they don't have to know them, and respond to their posts. All right, and that has to be done by, it says here, by September 6th. I thought it was by September 5th. I don't know. I'll give you guys the whole weekend to do this. It doesn't matter. I just want you guys to get used to this type of assignment. All right. This one's worth 5 points. And again, remember, observe the proper rules of netiquette. In other words, you know, I don't want to see here any kind of mocking or, you know, degrading or any comment that is, you know, dismissive of anybody. Always make it positive. I'm a fan of such and such artist. What's your favorite album? I also grew up in that area. I used to visit often, you know, things that are very connecting between you. Okay, so that's one type of assignment you're going to have. Another type of assignment is lab reports. And you already have a couple of them. You have this one called lab techniques. And that one is what we call a dry lab. In other words, if we were doing this in a real lab, all you had to do is write things on paper. It's a very interesting thing. So remember that when you do these kinds of assignments, okay, you're gonna have a submit assignment button here. And when you click on that, you'll be able to submit your assignment. Please read the instructions, download whatever you need to download. You may do it on paper. You can do it. This is usually a doc, like a Word document. Yeah, it's a word processing document. So you can use your word processing software for it. And you can upload either that file or a PDF. If you do it by hand, just take a picture and do a PDF. I posted in the before we begin module some ideas of ways that you can use to very simply convert a picture from your iPhone into a PDF scan and upload it here. So there are many ways you can do that. All right. Please pay attention to this bottom line here is how I want you to name your files that you upload, okay? It's very important so that in case I had to go back and refer to it, I want to make sure, okay, whose lab report is this, okay? Very good. Now, let me show you another type of lab report. I'm going to go way ahead here, okay? I'm going to go here to experiment P15. Now, I temporarily opened it so I could show it to you today, but this is not due till October, so I'm going to close it afterwards. So this is what this report looks like. In this section of the course, we're going to be analyzing different solutions that have different metal ions, and we learned that by carrying out a sequence of precipitation reactions, we can identify and isolate specific ions. And here is going to be a, like a video of it. I will, at this point, probably what I'll have to do is, it says here your lab manual enhanced. See why I haven't fixed these? Because when we did this, students still had lab manuals. We don't have those anymore. So what I'll do is I will put in the actual procedures. Anyway, here's a presentation of it. Here are the results for a mixture that has all 4 of the cations you're going to be analyzing. And then you're going to be given an unknown. Now, let me show you how you're going to know what your unknown is. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to hear where it says grades. That's going to be your grade book. And it should have a list of the assignments that are due. Of course, nothing has been turned in yet. Nothing has been graded. And you can see them here. Okay, you'll be able to see these. Now, if I scroll down to that experiment I just showed you, experiment P15, you'll notice that in this list, on the far right, there's a little icon here, or like little dialog boxes. So if you have that in there, it means that your instructor has sent you a message. Click it, and down here it says, please download the attached file that contains the data set for your unknown. And then it shows here download. And so you download your unknown in there. Now for this experiment, your unknown is going to be a set of pictures of what happens when you carry out certain reactions with your unknown. Let me show you what that one in particular is going to look like. Here it is. So this is what that file is going to look like when you open it. It's a PDF file, and this is the flow chart for the experiment, the different reactions we do. And here you have pictures that show what happens at each step of the different reactions that you do. And based on the observations you are shown here, your task is to identify, okay, what set of ions or what ion was present in the mixture that I was given. Okay, so that's how that's going to work. Yeah, it'd be fun. You guys are going to have fun with that one. Students always love that one. Okay, let me go back here to our Canvas page. Okay, so once you have downloaded your unknown file for that particular experiment, you can come back to the actual experiment itself. I said I had it in assignments, and then I go back to my lab report, and now I basically go ahead and do what I need to do. It tells me here exactly what you're going to be doing, what is your approach, and exactly what you need to submit at the end. There's a submit assignment here. Sometimes you'll only be able to upload things like document files or PDFs, but in some cases where you're doing graphs, you will also be able to upload the actual Excel files. All right. Let's go back here to our assignments. Let me show you another type of assignment. Of course, is quizzes. Right now, you have a lab safety quiz. It's kind of like a gimme. You basically want to review your safety guidelines from Chem 1A. And then notice that the answers are posted separately. So basically, there's no time limit on this one or attempts. So essentially, you open here, take the quiz, and you start. Now, in other cases, what's going to happen is, for example, if you take your first quiz in kinetics, which will not open until midnight tonight, but you'll need to go through the first couple of lectures as it's locked. Now, I want you to look up here where it says, it's 10 points. It's going to be essentially a file you're going to download, and you're going to answer it in there and then upload the answers that you have. And notice that you had to take it on September 4th by midnight. Every assignment on the due date has to be submitted by midnight of that day. Notice the time limit on this one, 20 minutes. In later quizzes, you'll also might have some limits as to, you know, if it's like an online quiz with just multiple choice or whatever, you'll have a limit of time, but also a number of attempts, typically 2 attempts at the quiz. All right. All right. Wow, we're running out of time here. I only have a couple minutes left, so let me show you. Eventually, exams are going to be here. I'll talk about those later on. Remember, for homework, for example, whenever you're, well, the kinetics is not available yet, or actually, it might be available already. Let me see. Oh, yeah, it is. So again, remember that you're supposed to go to the homework assignments tab and look for according to which edition of TRO you have. But again, remember that if you're using the Top Hat textbook, I'm going to get the score from the system. So what I'll do is I'll come back in here and input your score manually in here. Remember, you are not graded on correctness. You are expected to check the answers by yourself, make sure you have them right. Ask me questions if you had doubts. I'm not going to check for whether your answers are correct or not. I'm just going to grade it on the basis of, did you do most of it? Did you do at least half of it? That kind of thing. All right. And that is explained in the syllabus. And you can see the rubric here, how it works later on. You can look at that so you'll know how you will be graded for those kinds of assignments. Okay. Wow. I'm running out of time here. No. The last thing I want to show you is, again, coming back here to the modules, was I mentioned that one way that you can navigate the course is by a timeline. And for each pair of 2 weeks, I have what is called a suggested study plan. I explain the philosophy here, right? Taking a college course requires a lot of personal motivation and discipline. It's easy to fall into bad habits of time management. If you find yourself trying to complete assignments at the last minute, you know, it's going to be undermining your learning process. So I give you, for each pair of weeks, I'm going to give you a suggested study plan. And just in case you haven't checked it out yet, let me show you what the first one looks like. I have it in here. It's very simple, guys. Okay, it's not very complicated. So this is, like I said, emphasis suggested. It's a suggested plan of study. You don't have to do it this way. But if you're the kind of person that has a hard time organizing their work for a course in this format, you know what? I want to make sure that you have at least something to work with, something to start with. So notice that, for example, if you're taking this course, I would have liked for before today for you to have done some of these things that are in here, right? Including watching some of the videos, reviewing lab safety guidelines, and doing homework 0, which is due by midnight tonight. And then, for example, what you would have done today is, if you have time tonight, or if you had time during the day today, is go ahead and start with Unit 13, Part A, Study of Reaction Rates, right? Participate in our session here today and review that kinetic lounge assignment. That's the discussion forum. And make sure that by midnight you have turned in homework 0. Again, check the solutions before you turn the answers before you turn in the homework. It's a simple review of Chem 1A stuff. Some of you might have taken it, last semester, everything's fresh. Some of you took Chem 1A maybe a year ago, and some of that stuff is not as fresh. So it's a good review. And then maybe tomorrow you could work on the lab techniques activity, which is due by midnight. And then on Thursday, you would continue with the second part of Unit 13, rate loss, do the lab safety quiz, which is due by that night, and make your first post. This one has like a couple pages more. Actually, it's 2 pages. Actually, one more page. So notice that your first quiz is due by midnight on Thursday. And you have to put your original post, your bio, by Wednesday to the Kinetic Lounge. I'm sorry, by Thursday. I'm sorry. What's the third? Today's the first, second, third. Okay, Thursday is the third, I guess, right? And then hopefully by the end of the weekend, you will post your 2 replies. Now, I always put a little encouragement here for the weekend. What are some things you should do over the weekend? Yeah, enjoy Labor Day weekend, but don't get behind on work. And then it tells you here what to do next week. Of course, Monday's Labor Day. I don't want you doing stuff on Labor Day. If you want to, that's fine. I didn't put anything there. I just leave it up to you. Maybe it's a good day to catch up. Maybe you can are able to catch up with some of the lecture stuff here. And hopefully by the weekend, I will have the next set of lectures. Again, notice that this is a suggestion. I sort of have a feel for what helps students who struggle with time management. So if you want to follow this, that's fine. But if you want to follow your own, schedule, your own plan, that's fine. As long as you turn things in on their due dates, and as long as you feel that you are learning, hey, I'm good with that. Okay. Okay, let's see. Well, that's all I have. Let me see if there's any questions besides these. No, I think I talked about the periodic table. Again, students who have issues with scheduling and stuff, guys, just talk to me. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. We'll work it out. For example, your work schedule conflicts with the exam times, or let's say some of those of you who are registered with the DSPS program, and for example, right now, if I were to take a 2-hour exam, I would need multiple breaks. I can't sit for 2 hours, so I would need an accommodation. So I'd have to have an extended time. So, and I'm allowed to take these breaks, right? So things like that. We'll talk about those. I mean, it's still a ways before the first exam. I don't want to talk about that right now. I just want you to know, again, you'll hear some of this in my little blurb that I'm going to put into this recording when it shows up on your Canvas page tomorrow. I'm here for you guys, okay? I'm here for you. I'm not going to be annoying. I'm going to try not to be annoying. I'm gonna call you to be excellent and to have high expectations for yourself. But at the same time, if you're struggling with anything, just let me know. We'll work it out. Okay, that's the kind of guy that I am. So I just want to let you know that I care about you. I'm invested in your success. I'm here for you. I'll do my best to try to guide you through. Make sure that you are on top of your schedule and start looking at those lecture videos and those activities that are due this week. And as we go out, venture out into this world in turmoil that we're living in, Just stay safe, guys. Take care of yourself. Okay, take care of yourselves. Be safe. And in the words of the great wise sages of Hollywood, Bill and Ted, be kind to each other. And party on, dudes. Anyway, it's been great being with you. Again, if you have any other questions, just put them on the inbox or send me an email or a text. Okay. Hopefully, I'll get this recording to you by no later than tomorrow afternoon. All right. Have a great evening and thanks for joining me in this session. All right. Take care.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you to you all. Take care. Oh, I heard somebody's beautiful voice out there. Bye.